Are you ready?
I was born ready.
Hello, everybody, and welcome on in to episode 18 of the Stock Guy and Alex Show, the podcast
Should be 19.
covering topics around the world, business, news, markets, money, and sports. If people are talking about it, then so are we. The Stock Guy and Alex Show can be watched, listened, and viewed on YouTube and Spotify. Guys, follow the show on all major socials. Stocky just said it should be number 19. What's up, Stocky? Why should it be number 19?
I don't know. You want to tell us why we weren't here last week, Alex?
Yeah, the whole Madrinas team was in town, and we had to delay.
Hashtag ad.
Hashtag ad. Yeah, you know, the company that, that I work on every day had a whole team in town, and meetings kept getting pushed and pushed. So we had to take a week off. I wasn't able to find any time to record, and it was just getting so late in the week that we might as well just wait it to today. But hey, episode number 18. Since we've last done an episode, you have gone to LA and returned. How
I did go to LA. I got that was a hell of a trip. I hate flying, especially that far, but the plane ride was shit there. But yeah, I was in LA and was there for the Streamer Awards. But
what is it,
I also
6 hours? What is that, a 6-hour flight?
It's weird. It's 6 hours there, but like 4.5 back because of the tailwind. So yeah, it's wild, but like it was on the way there. Like I upgraded to like the premium economy, so I gotta have more space and shit. Didn't matter. I hate flying. But yeah, so it ended up going good. I mean, I ended up getting there a day early in case I had somebody, want to like go stand up for their rights in the middle of my fucking flight. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to be late. So I left a day early. Stayed on Hollywood Boulevard, kind of hung out a little bit. Saturday before the award show, I went to downtown LA. I found the spot that my dad and his friend and I used to panhandle when I was 5 years old. We used to live in Skid Row. I didn't know it was called Skid Row. I learned all this on the way there. We used to live in Skid Row, and we used to go panhandling for their drug money, and then they'd be passed out, and I'd be wandering around the city. And I remembered little bits and pieces of where we used to panhandle, and I was searching in the help of my community. I found it, and I went to the spot. And I saw it. And you know what the crazy thing was? The most ironic thing is that it was the financial district.
Damn, dude, that's a pretty intense story.
Yeah, everybody's like, "Oh, did you finally get closure?" And I was like, "Nah, I was just pissed. I wasted $44 on Uber."
We have Uber stuff coming up, guys. We're gonna be talking about Uber.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I was like, it wasn't like what I was expecting. Like, there was no like moment of like, "Wow, look how far I've come." It's just like, okay, like I don't have feelings, so
you got invited to the Streamer Awards. Were you nominated for something?
I was not nominated, and the reason I wasn't nominated is because I didn't tell anybody that I was up for that they could vote for me for anything, and so that's on me. I'm weird about that. But it's weird because, like I said, it's all fan voted, and so like when it came to like a league of their own, like I was like, listen, I know I didn't tell my people to vote for me, but how does nobody vote for the only fucking stock streamer of my size on the platform? Like, if there's literally a category for a league of their own, I am a league of my own because I'm the only goddamn one there is. Whatever, though. The worst part, though, was that we get there. I'm all dressed up in a nice tuxedo. I get there. A lot of people. I don't know anybody. I don't fucking know. Like, I know like 3 people because I don't watch Twitch.
You took Bobby with you.
Yeah, Bobby was there. He was late though. But then I get in and we do our COVID test. We stand in line for 15 minutes. I'm clear. I'm sitting in line. I'm like, what the fuck, man? What happens if I'm positive? Like I didn't figure this out. Like, what happens if they walk up and say, "Excuse me, you're positive"? Like, what do you do then, right? Like, you're in LA, you're screwed. So I get through, and then they give me my ticket, and I go to sit in the seats where all the tables are on the stage. I'm like, oh, this is really well done. Shout out to Cutie Cinderella, by the way, she did amazing. But I get there, and I'm starting to walk past the bar into this nice theater, amphitheater, and all these nice tables and the stage. And I start, and this little lady, security stops, and she goes, "Excuse me, can I see your ticket?" And I said, "Sure." She goes, "Oh, you need to find a seat upstairs." And I look down, and on my ticket, it tells me where your seating is, and it just says find a place upstairs. I was like, oh, okay, excuse the fuck out of me. So
Wait,
I go
hold
upstairs.
on. Did you not already look at that? You hadn't seen that part of your ticket?
I didn't know. They didn't tell me that your seating is on the back of the ticket. Like, it tells you where you're sitting, and like if you're not important, it's like find some place in the gallery. So I go up, and it's like up 3 flights of stairs. I get up to the top there, and it's like way up here, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be that guy. I don't know anybody. I don't know anything. So I sit in the back at the top row, the back all by myself. And I was fine there until the camera caught me. And now there's a meme all over my community of me sitting there with this shit-eating grin on my face with a drink, looking like I just found out that I'm not, a dad. I don't have to pay child support or some shit. So yeah, there was that, but it was great. I mean, I went to a pre-party, an after party, met a lot of people, had some good experiences. Glad I went.
You sat in the very back, up against like the back wall, up at the top. That is the most you version of that that story I could have even imagined. I don't know why I didn't expect that.
And I was happy. I was happy up there in my little spot.
Where was Bobby? You didn't sit with Bobby?
Bobby ended up sitting next to me because he didn't know anybody else. But he kept wanting me to introduce him to people, and I'm like, dude, fuck you, man. Like, what are you doing? But he was good. He was cool.
Well, I'm glad you had fun in Cali. I know your wife didn't want to go, right?
No, because of COVID and stuff like that, she didn't want to go. But it was a wild time. It was a lot of good people, a lot of good stuff, crazy stories. I'll tell you about some other time that happened while I was there, and all that other good stuff. But that's not what we're here for.
It's been 2 weeks. Listen, it's been 2 weeks since we recorded. We got a lot of stories. We got a lot of stuff that Stocky has over here in our Discord. We have all our story ideas and everything. Everything's just been stockpiling because it's been 2 weeks since we've recorded. What we're going to decide to talk about first and foremost is football, because of course we always talk about football first.
All we do is talk football.
We always talk about football first. However, this one's a little different, a little different twist on football. The guy that bought Tom Brady's final touchdown pass ball for more than $500,000, punching the air right now is this picture that Stocky sent me. That final touchdown pass Tom Brady threw to Mike Evans just sold for $518,000, guys. Tom Brady last year, or I shouldn't even say last year, it was in January, threw an amazing touchdown to Mike Evans in their playoff game against the Rams. It was the pass that was supposed to be the last touchdown that Tom Brady ever threw, but then he unretired literally a day after that ball gets sold at auction.
My man drops $500,000 on a ball, and the next day it becomes worthless.
According to dailymail.co.uk, which, take it for what it is, this article on this website says, bidder who paid $518K for Tom Brady's last football hours before he announced he's back in the game will still have to pay the full price for the football, despite it tanking in value by 96%. So apparently it's now, what is that? It's now only worth like 16K or 20K or something like that. It's
something like that. It's like under 20K.
Yeah, it says the buyer, whose identity has not been disclosed.
If I was this dude, $500,000 is enough for me to hire somebody to break Tom Brady's leg. I mean, that's your only option at this point. I am not condoning going full Tanya Harding. Okay, right now I'm just saying that, if Tanya Harding had a reason, this guy has a $500,000 or $480,000 reason to hire somebody to break Tom Brady's leg. I don't do it, but I'm just saying.
It says if the football were to go on sale now, it would be worth only around 20K, just 4% of the sale price. And Alton Insights appraiser told dailymail.com. God, man, could you imagine spending that much money?
It wouldn't even go for
football,
20K.
bro?
Why would you spend 20K? That's just like one of Tom Brady's touchdown balls. Like it's not going to go for 20K. You might get 1 or 2K out of it. The dude's gone. I understand how this guy feels. Maybe not 500,000 overnight, but I did one time play options in the market, and I turned $500 into 1,000. I turned 1,000 into 3,000, 3,000 into 7, 7 into 14, 14 into 25,000. And instead of being happy, I bet it all against Apple overnight on their earnings. Apple went up 7%, and I lost every single penny of it within 5 minutes of close of that market. I've been there, my man. Obviously, 25,000 is not 500,000.
That's almost how much it's worth now. What you just the full exposure of your loss was what it's worth now, which is the 96 lesser of the entirety of the value. I just can't imagine spending multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars on a football, bro. However, it's, imagine if you had the ball from Tom Brady's first retirement. That's probably why it's worth 20K, at least a little bit more.
I mean, it's worth that right now because Tom Brady hasn't taken the field yet. The second Tom Brady throws a touchdown, it's worthless. If he were to go out in the first game and get fucking knocked down in concussion, never throws on a touchdown, then it's got value because it's still technically his last touchdown. It'll never be worth as much because it wasn't his last game, so it'll probably be only worth 100,000. But if the second he throws another touchdown pass in the NFL, the thing goes to like $1,000.
That's it. That's all the football we're planning on talking about today. We're 10 minutes at 9:45 in, so 10 minutes in. We've made it through all of the football discussion. We're back on the rails. All of the other topics that we say that we talk about around the world: news, markets, money, sports. First and foremost, though, man, it's still light out, and I'm so freaking yoked about that. Normally, when we record this podcast, it's dark out, and I'm looking out the window. It's light out, man. This is amazing.
I'm an hour ahead of you, and it's still light. So I'm pumped too because I have a kid now, and I get to go out and play with her. And I'm loving it because it's like more time after the nanny leaves, and I've got her. So I'm loving it. Although I got to be honest with you, I'm also a fan of it getting dark half the year. It's kind of like people love seasons, right? They like to change. I like to change. I like the darker winters and even though it's Florida and we don't have fucking winters, you guys have winters. We don't have winters. But I like the idea of it getting darker earlier and cozier and, stuff like that. But at the same time, would it be beneficial to just always be lighter?
So my dad is the type of guy that loves, and I'm the same way. Listen, I like in the lead up, like basically the whole time between the holidays and daylight savings time, it's so dark. It gets so dark so early and there's really nothing going on. At least during the holidays, there's like people hanging out. There's like family doing stuff, whatever. Like when it gets cold, January, February, it feels like you're in it. Like, and there's like it feels like the whole world has frozen over here. Cause obviously it's so cold here, not where you are. But
well, you guys, we have two seasons. We have summer and less summer. You have two seasons, tornado season and blizzard season.
It gets very, very, very cold. We get blizzard during February, every single weekend, there was a snowstorm. Every single one. It was canceling people's flights and all, people were staying home from the office and, all the roads were iced over. It was actually there was one Thursday where my wife Mel was going to go see a friend in a different state and she was going to wake up and fly out and go see the friend. But when we got outside, I pulled my truck out into the driveway. It was literally just inches thick of ice. Not inches, like probably like centimeters thick of ice around our entire driveway, and I couldn't even turn my car. So we had to cancel that flight because we couldn't even get out of our house. But like what I'm getting at is like this is the time of year where I love getting to this point and love looking forward to it. And my dad's the type of guy like you were just saying, he loves that point too. But when I saw all the news coming through about how they're going to change it and they're going to take daylight savings time away and it's just going to be one permanent time, I told him. And I thought he was going to be so happy, but he was like, no, he goes, I like it when it's dark because then I can look forward to it being light out again. And obviously there's
like the feeling of change, and if you show that graphic, the crazy thing is that there's people in the lower 48 who aren't going to have sunrise until 10 a.m. Imagine how much shitty and depressing people's lives are going to be. It's not about sunset, right? Because sunset's one thing. Usually by 6 p.m., 7 p.m., you're in the house, you're done for the day. But imagine how depressing it is driving to work in the dark. That right there is depressing because psychologically sunlight and a new day, it brings like a feeling of, it's new, it's fresh, it's everything like that. But imagine getting up, driving to work, getting to work at 8 a.m., 8:30, 9, and it being dark out.
So that's what this article is on Washington Post. It says how permanent daylight savings time would change sunrise and sunset times. Brighter winter evenings would come at the expense of darker mornings. So it's this time of the latest sunrise of the year. If daylight saving time is made permanent, it's like this little like grid here, like the coloration, the darker the color, the later it is. And yeah, like, look at this, like sunrise wouldn't occur. It says some parts of Montana, North Dakota, Michigan will not see sunrise until after 9:30 a.m. on the days with the latest sunrise. Whereas I guess it's 8:30 on those days. Like what? Like on like December 22nd, it's 8:30. Like that's like the worst of the worst. They're basically measuring. I don't know,
but if they don't have that daylight savings time where you move back an hour, it's just not going to. I mean, it's already like, for example, when we moved ahead, I went out in the morning. I always get up in the morning. I get up at 5:30 in the morning because I have a lot to do before the market opens, and it's always dark, right? But by the time I get breakfast and I have my coffee and I sit down and start doing the news and stuff like that, and then it's time for me to take out the dog for his second time to pee, it's light out. But last week it was still dark out. It just threw me for a loop. But it was cool because now that my daughter's playing around and we're outside I've been able to play with her longer. So, I guess it really depends. I think it's more so about that morning commute, right? Like I said, like most people morning commute, the sun is either up or coming up when they're going to work or school. And imagine going when it's dark. I feel like psychologically, and I know there's going to be people in other countries or in Arizona, because apparently Arizona is just special, that are going to be like, well, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard. We're all fine. Have you ever been to Europe? It's depressing as shit.
It's bleak. You saying it's bleak? Europe's bleak?
I'm just saying, all I'm saying is, have you ever been to the United Kingdom? I've never seen somebody in the UK smile, and it's not because of their teeth.
Well, either way, what was it? The Senate decided that, or they passed it unanimously to get rid of daylight savings time. Now it goes to the House, or did the House pass it? Now it goes to the Senate.
I haven't been keeping up with it because I don't really care. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. The only thing that really affects me is the time when it springs forward an hour and I lose an hour of sleep. And I always look forward to the day where I get an extra hour of sleep. That's the only thing that really matters to me at the end of the day.
You look forward to that?
Getting an extra hour of sleep?
Like, I always look forward to the spring forward. Like, I don't like the gaining an hour of sleep. Because it comes at
who doesn't want to sleep an extra hour?
It comes at too great of a cost. In a vacuum, I'd take it. The cost is too great. It's darkness forever for 4 months. Yeah,
no, I'm saying I'm looking at the bright side if it doesn't get passed.
Oh, all right. You're saying you're
Jesus Christ.
Stay positive.
Chill
with
out.
It.
Right,
I'm just saying. You like that
you're
part?
You're hyped up.
Yeah, I am hyped up. Maybe it's because
because you're wearing a Chicago Bulls hockey jersey. You're confused. You're a confused, angry little man.
It's a Chicago Bulls. Look at this, man. It's a dope.
That is a hockey jersey.
We were at the Bulls game last weekend, and
any askers?
You're talking about. You bring up the Chicago Bulls. I'm telling you.
Tell me about the jersey.
I just said what you're wearing. So we're gonna tell you where we got the clothes. We're at the Bulls game, and I was walking up and down the hallway. And they had this nice merchandising little thing out, and there was this hoodie right here. And I was like, man, what is that? It's hockey, it's comfy, it's a hoodie. You can't wear a basketball jersey. No one walks around wearing, I don't walk around just wearing basketball jerseys and like sleeveless shirts. Unless the sleeveless shirt crowd's into it. But how many basketball jerseys you own? You just walk around wearing?
I don't own any basketball jerseys.
It's because it's hard to wear a basketball jersey around the,
it's because I don't watch basketball and I don't feel the need to give a team money to show other people that I support a team. That's not how it goes.
It's not about showing other people. It's about just supporting the team.
How many jerseys do you own, Alex?
Bears jerseys?
Exactly. You don't even know. You're in the 20s or 30s minimum.
Bears jerseys?
No, just overall jerseys.
Overall jerseys, I'm probably at 10 to 12.
Bullshit. I've seen you wear. I see a new one all the time, and I've seen you wear at least 10 or 12.
You want me to go get them all? You want me to grab all of them?
Yes, Alex. I want you to stop the podcast to go get that, and then I also want your wife to go get her shoe collection. No, I don't care about how many you have. You waste your millions of dollars on whatever you want. That's not my problem. I'm saying is, whatever you want to call it. Listen,
what do you spend your millions of dollars on?
You want to spend your money on jerseys. Some people and companies want to spend their money on mining companies. You know what? I don't care what people do with their money. Do it. Do whatever you want. It's your money.
Guys, AMC Theaters buys a $28 million stake in a gold and silver mining company. So you watch a movie, you mine some gold, right? You go to.
Let's be honest. The only reason we're talking about this story is so we can have it in the title and in the thumbnail for clickbait. But
the AMC Theaters, the biggest cinema chain in the world, is buying a 22% stake in Nevada-based gold and silver mining company Highcroft Mining Holding Corp. AMC's $28 million cash investment in Highcroft is the company's latest attempt to shore up its finances after COVID-19 forced movie theaters to close. After evading bankruptcy and embracing its status as a meme stock last year, AMC announced plans to expand its business outside of box office by selling popcorn in shopping malls around the country. It says AMC is playing on offense again with a bold diversification move. We just purchased 22% of Highcroft of Northern Nevada. It has 15 million ounces of gold resources and 600 million ounces of silver resources. Our expertise help them bolster their liquidity. AMC CEO Adam Aaron wrote on Twitter. What? No. Let me tell you what's actually going on. And I know I'm going to get hate from all the AMC people. Welcome, by the way. I know the clickbait got you in here. Let me tell you something. This is just another way that AMC executives are patting their pockets on other people's, like, I don't want to say stupidity. I want to say ignorance, right? Because stupidity is knowing something and still not, or just not knowing it because you choose to. Ignorance is just a lack of knowledge. This is ignorance, right? These guys
every time AMC popped, right, they did an offering and people bought it up. So they're just selling more shares of the company and making that money, right? They're patting their pockets. Then the market drops, they buy it back. Then they go and they decide to do, we're going to allow you to buy popcorn in Dogecoin and then Sheepcoin. And now we're going to do NFTs and we're going to do this. And you know what it does? It pads their pockets and it also helps their friends out. Let me tell you something. AMC has no business getting into a gold mine. Sure, gold is probably going to do really well in the short term because of stagflation and whatnot, but this is what happened. I wouldn't be surprised if they're friends with people that own that mine and they said, hey, listen, we're going to take a stake in this and we're going to tell it, and all these idiots that believe everything and buy up every time are going to buy up your company. And you know what? In return, we're going to get 22% of your company, and we want at value of share price when we do the announcement, and we'll see what happens. And guess what? That stock in that little mining company is now up 340% this month since they made the announcement.
The stock that they purchased here?
That company's stock, that HYMC, their stock is up 383% since they announced it. And guess what? If AMC took that 22% stake, their 22% stake is now 400% more valuable. And that company now is 400% more valuable. Their stock before the announcement was 30 cents a share. It is now at 146. After the announcement, it popped to $2.29, and somebody sold a bunch of shares. So I'm just saying that why is AMC, why is a theater that was on the brink of bankruptcy before the GameStop thing, got all this money, got so much money from people trying to do whatever, that they got themselves out of bankruptcy, gave themselves hundreds of millions of dollars in bonuses, and now they're out buying this is a sign of a responsible theater. Let's not invest in infrastructure, in new movies, in chairs, in experiences, in lobbies, in better popcorn. No, let's go out and buy a fucking gold mine. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, that's a company I want to invest in there, Alex.
We were close to AMC being gone, just being gone forever.
But I bought 10,000 shares at $2.83 in January or December of 2019 to 2020. That's how much it was valued at. And then I sold it at $20 or whatever, and then it went to 60. That's where it was. They were on the brink of complete bankruptcy. Like they didn't have any money. And that was before COVID.
I know. Like I got the picture pulled up here from the web, from the link. And it's got the AMC brand. It's on it's like on like one of their big theaters. And like we were so close to this just being gone, and we would never have seen it again. Which my favorite theater that is here in St. Louis is an AMC theater. I think it's the best. I think it's just got the best screens, whatever. I don't know. I know there's movie snobs out there that say, oh no, it's like this theater because of the sound or whatever. I don't know. There's an AMC theater that I think they do a great job of it. Maybe the whole company needs to come and say, hey, whatever this location's doing, we need to replicate. But I don't think buying gold mines is sustainable.
It's not a business decision. And my favorite theater is actually one here in Pembroke Pines called Flippers. It's one of those like old school like 80s theaters. Like you go in, it has like a arcade, like a big arcade in the lobby, like where you can get tickets, like a Dave & Buster's kind of thing. And then the tickets are super cheap. The popcorn's like $3. The drinks are like $2. And you go in, it's like the old school theaters, like with no like surround sound. And I enjoy it. It's just kind of a nostalgic thing for me. But
do you play the games? No. Do you play the arcade games?
Not really. Like when we go, like if we don't go now because my wife's afraid of everything. But my wife locked me down. I was a prisoner for 3 days, Alex. My wife quarantined me. Let me tell you a little something. Okay, I went to LA. Originally, she didn't want me going because she's afraid of COVID. I'm like, I'm boosted. I'm vaccinated. I'm going to wear a mask. I'm going to be away from everybody. Whatever. She's like, when you come back, you're going to stay in Airbnb for 5 days. I said, the fuck I am. I said, I got a show to run. She's like, well, our family's more important. I said, first of all, you're vaccinated. I'm vaccinated. The baby doesn't. Their babies aren't dying in mass because of COVID. Okay. I said, and I'm not going to have COVID. I said, all right, you want me to quarantine? Fine. You want me to go to Airbnb? Sure. But you know something? My back and neck will probably be stiff from those airlines. So I'll probably have to get some in-call massages for those 5 days to get those things out.
You said
that? All of a sudden, my idea of me staying in the house and away from the family was pretty cool. So she decided, okay, I'll let you stay in and quarantine in the back bedroom. So I was like, okay, I'll just tell her that to shut her up. And then when I come back, everything's fine. No, I was locked in my bedroom for 3 fucking days. My wife slid my dinner through the bottom of the door.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
And every time I had to walk to the outside or something, she ran into the room with the baby with a mask on, closed the door, and I had to have a mask on. I was like, the fuck, am I some kind of like zombie patient?
It was in your bedroom?
I started calling her warden. I just started calling her warden. Like, warden,
Was it in your hall?
warden, warden, I need some food. Warden.
Was it in your bedroom?
Yes, I was locked in my room.
Where did she sleep?
In the other room that she always stays in, but she
Why
had the
didn't
whole
you
house.
then also threaten those in-call massages?
I'm not gonna bring a fucking in-call massage in my house with my wife. Are you crazy?
You just said you just threatened it before. Whatever, it's okay.
I said if I had to stay at an Airbnb.
Yeah,
She didn't want me in the house.
Listen, I wouldn't recommend saying that to your wife ever, but you said it about the Airbnb, and it
It
seemed
got
to
me
work.
to be able to stay in my house
That's
and
what
do
I
my
mean.
show,
So
didn't
why
it?
didn't you just keep it going until you got your normalcy? Either way, whatever, dude.
Because
you survived the
I had to
quarantine.
do my show, and I could do my show
You
in my
sur-
room.
you
I couldn't
survived.
do it.
You survived. Oh, did you do it from your room?
Yeah, I'm in one of my rooms right now.
Either way, AMC investing in gold mines got us there. So, whatever. Go see a movie and be happy that you can still see it at an AMC branded theater. They're buying gold mines.
Why buy a mine? Why not invest in something that has a record? I mean, if you're not going to invest in your own company, invest in something that has a history of going up significantly in value. Like, instead of AMC's always trying to push their, they're going to give NFTs to everybody who comes to the Batman. Fuck that. Buy some fine art. That's what everyone needs to do. Billionaires and rich people put their money and hide it and evade with money. And you know what? It's always been the historical paintings, the Mona Lisas and the this and that and that. No, not anymore. Guess what? This is how you know you're getting old, because no longer is it 18th, 19th, 17th century paintings. 20th century paintings are now big. And you know what? Someone is about to make a lot of money off of one of those paintings.
Guys, article on Bloomberg.com says Christie's plans to auction a Warhol for $200 million and break records. The highly coveted 1964 Marilyn Monroe painting would become the most expensive 20th century work ever to sell at auction. In May, Christie's will lead its marquee New York Sales Week with an auction of Andy Warhol Marilyn silkscreen carrying an estimate in the region of $200 million. Bro, $200 million for art. Like, what's the whole deal? Like, rich people hide their money in art? Isn't that the whole deal?
There's two reasons that you buy art. Number one, it's because, let me tell you something. You probably know this. I don't even know why I'm saying this, because you're fucking filthy rich. But for those who don't know,
what are you talking about?
Rich people get bored, okay? You can only go on so many vacations. You can only eat at so many nice restaurants. You can only drive so many nice cars. You can only, do so many things before you just become numb. You just become dumb. It's like having sex with your wife, right? Like, after a while, it just becomes stale, old, and boring. And you need something different.
That's not true.
Well, you just got married. I don't know, we'll see how you feel in 5 years. But so what I'm saying is that in this case, billionaires, they want something different. They want something exhilarating, something exciting, something that's unique. And so what they'll do is they'll buy something that no one else has, one of a kind things, because they're the only ones who own it, right? And that's kind of why NFTs had the hype in the beginning, when people thought, oh, I'm the only one who's going to have this, and then realized right click, copy, paste, whatever. So that's what happens. The other thing is, it's a good way to hide your money. So what you do is if you got money that you need to hide, right? Or you need to just put away for a while, right? You go ahead and buy yourself a painting from somebody who paid $5 million. You pay $10 million. Now the person who bought it for $5 million gets to turn around and sell it for $10 million. They make a $5 million profit, pay their taxes, and they hid their money. And guess what? They made a profit on it. Now you have it, right? And now you hold it until you need the cash, or you want to move assets around. Then you sell your $10 million painting for $20 million, and the same cycle continues until it just goes up, 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 up. So there's two reasons why it's going to happen. But you know what? Fine art has outpaced the markets, real estate, and everything, and it's not slowing down. It's continuing to go up. As people have more money, paintings will go up in price.
So it says the artwork is being consigned by the Thomas and Doris Amann Foundation in Zurich. Thomas was one of the most influential dealer and collectors of the 1980s, selling modern and impressionist art to billionaires, including Johnny Agnelli and Ronald Lauder. So I mean, $200 million, that breaks the freaking record, I think. Meaning that
Any 20th century painting, yeah.
Show up with a spare $200 million to spend. I mean, I guess, yeah, they're going to need someone to actually show up and buy it still. I mean,
oh, they're gonna have to, because everybody's worried about a recession incoming. Everybody's worried about markets crashing. Everybody's worried about the real estate market coming down. You got a lot of money, and you're a billionaire, and you need 200 million to just kind of hold, kind of like it's like buying a bar of gold, right? And like holding it until you can resell it later on. It's the same thing here. One of these billionaires who made a shitload of money during COVID and everything else, and knows the economy is going to crash or is worried about it, is going to buy this up and sit on it, and then guess what? In 5 years, they're going to turn around and sell for 230 million, make that 15% profit and be happy.
I mean, I honestly, you know, a painting like this, talk about right click. What about the whole thing where you could just save it and then you can go print it yourself? Why not just go do that? Like the old school way.
Well, you can't do a copy because obviously it's a one of a kind. And that's what the whole thing about NFTs was, is well, it's a one of a kind. I have it on the blockchain. Okay. Okay, but here's the thing. If I want to prove that I have the Mona Lisa, I have the fucking Mona Lisa, right? There's no copies out there, and I have receipts for it, and everybody knows I own the Mona Lisa. Like, everybody's going to know you own that. Here's the thing. I could literally go right now to anyone on Twitter's profile picture, right click, copy, paste it, put it as my profile picture, and now everyone is going to believe that I bought that NFT. How are they going to prove I didn't? They're going to say, oh, I want to see the blockchain. What am I going to do? Yeah, here's my blockchain address of it. No, it was a pump and dump from the beginning. I know people are going to hate me for this, but you know something? It looks just like the tulips, because I don't know if you've got the thing up right now, but it's already fucking crashing.
Here's the graph that we're looking at for the what's measuring interest in NFTs. The interest in NFTs
this doesn't mean anything, Stocky. You're just a boomer. You don't understand. This is just a dip. You got to buy the dip.
Is that me or who you?
No, that's the fucking NFT crypto bros that always say that shit.
Worldwide Google search interest in the term NFT from March 2021 to March 2022 spiked January 16th. What happened January 16th? Why is that the spike date?
Fucking know. Is that when? I don't know. January 16th.
Yeah. What was anything?
Listen, I know the only date in January I remember is January 6th. That's the only date I celebrate.
Okay, so March 6th is today. And we're looking at a massive plummet. Do you have the tulip?
It's a joke. I look forward to your comments.
Do you have the tulip graph?
No, just Google tulip mania.
Why you guys sound so angry when you say that?
Because like that's like the laziest thing I've ever heard. Yes, I'm sitting with the tulip graph just open on my computer at all times, Alex. Absolutely. Let me just pull that up for you.
I don't know, man. You got some weird stuff going on your computer. What was that thumbnail you said? Top 10 Ukrainian porn stars or something like that you sent over?
All I'm going to say is that I think my phone is listening to me because there's, well, wait. Not because of that one, but I was scrolling through and like my algorithm picks up things like, you know, history and war and finance and money. And I'm scrolling and it says top 10 hottest Ukrainian porn stars. And I'm like, I have no idea why this is on. And don't give me that. Nobody gonna go ahead and say, well, it's just that the algorithms pick up based on your search history. I've never looked up Ukrainian porn stars on YouTube. Okay.
All right. I'm good. I'm good with that. Okay. I'm good.
Never on YouTube. So I don't know what's going on.
We're square. But this is the tulip. This is the tulip bubble measured from 1634 to 1637.
I'm convinced the Dutch are behind NFTs as well. I never trust the Dutch.
This is a massive, this was a massive bubble. And then this right here, if you look at and compare it to, you know, obviously there's some correlation there. If you look at these two lines here, NFTs are plummeting. Bro, NFTs, man, like, can't we just like all acknowledge that like the idea makes sense, but it's just way too early. Like we're probably
it's like the metaverse. It's the same thing with the metaverse. If the metaverse was just Facebook dying as a company and trying to relive itself or revive itself with putting lipstick on a pig, it's all hype and it's over.
Everybody says like, oh, you know, like you hear it all the time from people like naysaying NFTs. And I don't care about NFTs, whatever. I'm not pro them. I'm not anti them. They're just whatever. But like you hear it all the time from people that are like, that love to just like naysay NFTs, like, oh, you know, you can right click and oh, it's like just a picture now. I have it, like, and and 30 years is gonna go by, and those people, some of those people might be gone, and we're gonna have a whole new crop, we're gonna have a whole new generation that's out here, you know, participating and active in the market. They may love it. They're gonna be born and raised around this sort of massively digital world. We're probably just too early, right? So you got these crypto bros who are probably like, let's say a crypto bro is like 25 years old right now. they're going to be like 55 years old and say, I told you so. But then the 25-year-olds of that time are going to know how to
That's
actually.
what they also told us about Beanie Babies.
Yeah, but Beanie Babies aren't around.
Exactly.
But Beanie
There's
Babies
still
are like
holding
a
on to
specific.
them, waiting.
Beanie Babies are like a specific thing, like a proprietary thing, brand owned by a company. NFTs are just an idea. NFTs are just like, hey, here's something digital on the internet that you can like own or whatever. We're just too early for this. Metaverse, we're too early. But fast forward, man. Fast forward 30 years. The world's going to look.
I watched NVIDIA's presentation today. Their shit looked better than Facebook.
What's NVIDIA? Like their metaverse?
They're doing their own like AI and a whole thing. It was huge. It was a big announcement. It was actually pretty cool.
They're going to need to have these metaverses, whatever, like, because obviously we live in a capitalistic world.
Until I can have a sex robot, it doesn't matter. Okay? That's all we need. Let me tell you
Is that
something.
how you're going to spice it up?
Before, and I'll say it again.
It's not going to be stale anymore with your little sex robot?
No, all I'm saying is the second there's sex robot, whoever develops the first like real like cool sex bot is going to be the most valuable company in the world, because every guy out there who either is not attractive, no confidence, is tired of the dating scene, is tired of is going to get one of those, and that's what they're going to want. That's all they're going to want.
No way.
And yes. You want to know why? Because when you're done, you can turn it off, and that's it. You don't have to worry about it.
Bro,
okay?
No shot.
Unlike my wife, who gets
turned
off before the deed is done. Okay, but in this case,
no. That's the equivalent. That's the equivalent of saying like, you remember Soylent? Remember the
I'm not a soy. I don't know what that is.
Do you know did you see the drink Soylent that was out there in the world?
I don't remember.
Or
that.
like any of these like food for utility things where it's like, oh, just have.
Are you going to compare that to sex? What is the only reason? Okay, let me give you a little. Let me give you a little
I'm
biology
not going to do anything because
lesson.
you're just going to
Let me give you a little
interrupt.
biology. Or a little history lesson. Men are driven by sex.
I'm not going to take my backpack just like I did in high school.
It is what we are. We are driven by sex. The second, it's how it is. I'm not saying women don't have sex drive either, but women are much more emotional creatures. It's the same reason why women are statistically attracted to men who are more confident, have stronger jawlines. Because when we were in caves and stuff like that, our evolution was, the stronger the male, right? The more he could provide and protect and do everything like that. So if you were a woman, you wanted to be with that guy because he could protect you, and he could, feed you and the family. It's kind of like a biology thing, right? Now, men are driven by sex. It's how we are. Why do you think men work so hard? And I'm not downplaying women. I'm just talking about men right now. We work so hard and we earn and we want to have prestige and money and things. Why? Because we want to attract females. It's just who we are. And in history, that's who attracted the females, who had all that stuff. That's where we are. Why do we want to attract females? Because we want to get off, right?
So
you ever had post-nut clarity?
Have
you ever had sex with somebody, you've got your nut off, and then you're just like, oh God, now what? Go leave, whatever.
I've never had that feeling once in my entire life.
You've never had that? Okay, I still have that feeling. Like my wife even knows. She's like, oh, you're done. So now there's no reason. She even said the other night when we had some adult time. We had our thing. We were done, and she's like, you want to cuddle for a second? She's like, I know you already finished, and you're probably not in the mood, but can you cuddle for a second? I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. So like, that's what it is. It's kind of like post-nut clarity. Have you ever watched some really like scrolled for like, let's be honest, you spend 1,000 times longer searching porn than you do actually watching it, right? So here's the thing. Have you ever gotten through like a page after page and found something, finished, and then looked back and said, that was fucking disgusting. Like, I can't believe I feel dirty right now. That's post-nut clarity. If we had a way of getting off and having sex without actually having to deal with all the other stuff, the world economy would collapse.
So you're kind of saying that if we get these sex robots, that the actual society itself will crumble.
Oh, soy boys like you, Alex. I'm talking about, the idea of listen, I'm with a woman because I want sex. Marriage is just legal prostitution. That's all it is.
No.
And a bukkake is technically a baby shower.
I don't know. I asked you, have you heard of Soylent? Is what
That's going to be your new alert, isn't it?
I asked you ever heard of Soylent? My point in all that was hilarious, by the way. All that, bravo, guys. If you're listening, and please leave a comment. Just leave some claps in the chat, because in the comments, that was great for Stocky. That was good. Bravo. My point was
never getting to the rest of this show.
No, fuck the rest of this. My point in Soylent, bro, is that you have a company that tries to sell food as a utility. But you know what people love? People love the experience of food. They love the all the flavors, and they love the actual real sort of like visceral experience.
I love the experience. And if my robot doesn't mind going, ass, mouth, vag, then that's cool. I'm all about the experience. Don't get me wrong. Okay. I'm just saying, if I can have the experience without having to pay for it at the end of the meal, that's what I'm talking about.
Nobody is ever going to be.
Mamma mia.
Ain't nobody ever going to be happy with a sex robot. That's just an.
What are you talking about?
Talking about
I'm
is a
literally
solution.
sitting. I told my wife the second a sex robot comes out, it was nice knowing you.
What you're describing is is an escort. That is already. That's like the world. That's like the longest running profession in humanity. What you're describing is when you have sex and then it's just done and then you move on.
Number one, you got to make sure that they're legit. Number two, you got to make sure there's no diseases. Number three, you got to have a shady place. Number four, they're pimp. Number five, are you paying for it? What are you paying for? The cheaper it is, the more gummy it is, but it's also more dangerous.
Gummy?
Right? You ever gotten head from a meth head? From a meth addict without any teeth? Holy shit, bro. But no, what I'm getting at here is that there's a lot of things that are involved and a lot of problems there. A sex robot is.
All right, have your robot. Have your fucking robot.
Thank you. Let me have my sex robot because you know what? My sex robot is designed to do whatever I want, however I want. And then you know what? Unlike the hooker, I can put this in my trunk at the end of the night and not get in trouble. If I get pulled over with a sex robot in my trunk, I'm fine. If I get one with a hooker in my trunk, I've been there. Trust me, it's.
Have your damn sex robot. I'm gonna do other things. I'm gonna just hang out and watch Netflix with my wife.
Netflix and chill with the robot.
I'm gonna sit back and hang out and watch Netflix.
I don't have to watch a Walk to Remember in the Notebook with my robot. No, my robot is gonna be down for Top Gun and shit. Like, imagine getting head from your robot while watching fucking Maverick do barrel rolls. I mean, that's a future I'm for.
Oftentimes, whenever we record this podcast, my door is open right here, and Mel is like making dinner or whatever. And sometimes she'll like ask me some interesting follow up, like, "Oh, I heard that you talked about this story, whatever." I'm excited to hear what the follow up is. Any of this conversation.
Mel is gonna ban you from ever hanging out with me. You know that, right?
No, she thinks she would actually find this conversation very, very hilarious and interesting. She would think this is hilarious. But we got to move the fuck on. So we're gonna talk about Netflix. We're gonna talk about all y'all out there mooching and taking passwords from your parents or from your brothers and sisters or your cousins or someone that you hooked up with one time. This is what Netflix is trying to crack down on. Netflix wants to charge users who share accounts in password crackdown, which obviously is like, probably if you were going to say like, hey, how can we increase our top line? If you're going to say, how can we juice our P&L? If you're like in the Netflix office, yeah, say all those moochers, make them pay. That's easily how you all of a sudden blow the top off of your top line. And when I say top line, it's not like a brand of a sex robot. So chill out over there, Stocking. I'm talking just about
that's a bottom line. Trust me.
So after years of turning a blind eye to password sharing, Netflix has had enough. The streaming giant is making moves to charge
can you
users.
Share sex robots?
Who? Me?
Oh no, I was just thinking about sharing passwords. I was like, if you like had a roommate and you guys like wanted to go in on halvesies, like how would that?
Don't go in on halvesies.
Why not? I feel like you just switch up ends.
Listen, we just had that. Where that conversation ended was, I said, just have your sex robot, have a society with sex robots, whatever. I'm gonna be just holed up in the woods out here, and I'm just gonna turn a blind eye to it. But here's my one request: don't go halvesies. Enjoy a sex robot to yourself.
You never done an Eiffel Tower?
I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never done anything close to what you're probably thinking that is. Just have a sex robot to yourself. Just don't go halvesies. Don't go unless
Alex,
that's your
you
thing.
and I need to take a trip to Thailand.
A few weeks after Netflix raised the price of its monthly sub, take Bobby, of its monthly subs in the US, the company said it is testing a new feature that will charge customers an extra fee for the ability to share accounts. Netflix said the new option will be tested over the next few weeks in Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru before it introduces changes in other countries. So all you moochers out there, get ready to fork over some dollars. The people you're mooching off of aren't going to want you, aren't going to just start paying and footing your Netflix bill, most likely. You watch Netflix?
I do. I watched Squid Games when I was putting the baby to sleep every night, and I watched The Last Kingdom. The new season just came out. I was watching it on the plane over to LA. That's the only thing I really watch. I don't have time to watch a bunch of that shit, but my wife, now that I've kind of like helping her out and stuff like that at night, and I like to play with the baby, she takes that time to watch, and she's been binge watching shows like crazy, like that new the new one with the girl who became the heiress or whatever. Like I was like, hey, watch this show because I just want to get rid of my wife, right? Like I told you, post not clarity. Like get the fuck out of here. Go watch your chick flicks or something. And it's great. We don't have, whatever, but she watched the whole thing. She binged it. And, our Netflix, they went up in price, but something, it's a small price to pay for the piece in my house. But yeah, I do watch Netflix, or she watches it.
So a quote from Netflix, it says, while these household plans have been hugely popular, they have also created some confusion about when and how Netflix can be shared. Netflix's
By the way,
director,
real quick, sorry to start up with you. Babe, I know you're listening to this right now, and I'm standing next to you, and you're side-eyeing me this whole time. I love you. You have great tits. All right, keep going.
And they're very, he also wants to say they're not robotic. They're very human, is I'm sure what he wants to add to that.
Oh, they sag a bit, but I mean, she's 37.
All right, while these have been hugely popular, you're such an asshole. I hope she smacks you in the back of the head. She's 37.
She had a baby.
I mean, smacks you in the back of the head
considering the circumstances, they're pretty damn good.
Well, these I feel like every time we record, I have to call you an asshole at least one time because of something you say to your fucking wife.
Part of my charm.
Well, these have been hugely popular. They've also created some confusion. Yeah. Netflix's director of product innovation said, as a result, accounts are being shared between households, impacting our ability to invest in great new TV and films for our members. Obviously, we all know this. Netflix, go out and earn your full bag. Crack down on the moochers. We all
you
know
watch
this.
Anything on Netflix right now?
I was out of town last weekend hanging with
that's not what I didn't say. Where were you last weekend? I said, are you currently watching anything on Netflix?
No, yes right now I'm recording a podcast and I'm reading an article on Wall Street Journal.
We're smart asses now. In the past 30 days, have you watched anything?
Yes, I'm going to get to that in 1 second. But this says existing subs will be able to add sub accounts for up to 2 people they don't live with at an additional cost. In Costa Rica, the feature will cost $2.99 a month, with users in Chile and Peru being charged the local equivalent. So there you go, $2.99 a person. I just watched Bad Vegan in DC with BBXH, who
you're a bad vegan because you're a lying vegetarian. You're a pescatarian. You're not a fucking vegetarian.
I'm a bad vegan because I'm a lying vegetarian.
Yeah. That's the second sentence today I thought I would never ever speak in my life. You want to know what the first one was? I'm outside playing with my daughter today, and I don't realize that a package has been delivered to my door. And we're playing. She goes up to the door, grabs it, opens it up, and starts flinging it around. And I look over and I say, "Oh, baby, don't do that. You're gonna ruin Daddy's dress."
The dress was at your doorstep, which my brother dropped off.
You sent me a dress.
My brother
that we may have to wear tomorrow, and my daughter found it and was messing with it, and I literally looked at my infant and said, "Be careful, baby. Don't ruin Daddy's dress."
Hey, the dress is your idea, and my brother dropped that off today. On your doorstep.
Wait, you gave someone else my home address without my permission?
You gave our company your preferred ship-to address.
Shipping address to send packages through third parties, not to have people
there was
at your
never
company
any
arrive at my home
or anything like that. You're lucky he didn't show up with ramen and knock on the door.
He's lucky he didn't get. Never mind.
No, he didn't do anything. He literally set a dress down.
He came on my property.
He didn't. No, that's not where he came. He set a dress.
He came on my property without my permission.
He set a dress down on your doorstep, of which you have now for tomorrow, for whenever we're hanging out. But that's a tangent. That's neither here nor there. We watched Bad Vegan. You said I'm a bad vegetarian or a lying vegetarian or something like that. You or anyone should watch it. It's 4 episodes on Netflix about this gal who had a vegan restaurant in New York, who then she started, that was very profitable. And then she started dating this guy.
Alex, I really don't care. I'm not going to watch it.
Listen, she started dating this guy who told her that her dog could be immortal if he just sends her all the company's money. And she did it every month.
Wait, you watched this show? This is the premise of a show and you watched it?
We watched it. It's 4 episodes, and it's a true story. I mean, they're interviewing all the people and everything. And she sent all this guy money, and he was just gambling it all at the Foxwoods Casino up in New York, upstate New York. And he just kept telling her, like, I'll make your dog immortal if you send me all the restaurant's money every month. And she just kept doing it. She couldn't make payroll. They were on the run. They went to Pigeon Forge in Tennessee. That's where they were hiding out. Dude, these scam shows, this trash TV is taking over Netflix and Hulu. There's one on WeWork right now. There's one on the Theranos story with Elizabeth Holmes.
Well, the one right now that I'm getting a lot of funny stuff is there's one called the Tinder Swindler, and apparently it's about a guy who pretended to be like a diamond, billionaire in the diamond industry, and like got all these women, like he like scammed them for hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever, and then now he's actually looking for his own show or whatever like that. But I'm being called the Timber Swindler because there was okay, let me tell you something. Here in Florida, there is, especially in my neighborhood, every second Wednesday, the first and third Wednesday of every month, there is a bulk pickup. You could take all the stuff you don't want that doesn't fit in a trash can, put it on the side of the road, and they come around and pick it up and throw it away, right? And I often tell people, hey, listen, if you want a side hustle, get a truck or something, go around at midnight the night before, pick up stuff and resell it at garage sales, whatever you want to do, right? I don't care. We talked about this, those guys that went through my shit, remember that whole thing, whatever. So a couple weeks ago, I was looking for a petting zoo for my daughter because she loves animals. And I came across this place called Happy Farms, right? And I was like, oh, cool. And then I looked into their website. It turns out that they do therapy rides, horse rides for veterans with disabilities and PTSD and kids on the autism spectrum and disabled people. They do a lot of work. They don't make any money. They're nonprofit. So I went and met them and we talked about it and it was really cool. And they were like, yeah, we need this. We also need wood to build up the farm because all the money goes to food and stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. The next night we're out walking and I see lumber piles everywhere in my neighborhood, right? And I'm like, where's all this lumber? And some of it's like really good quality, stickers still on it, white pine, the whole 9 yards. And I'm like, holy shit. So I look at my wife, I'm like, I need to get some of that lumber. You know how expensive lumber is right now? I'm like, lumber's so expensive, it's like gold on the side of the road. So I go and I get in my little Corolla and I drive to these piles and I'm like, I have pictures I should show you. I'm piling it in the window of my Corolla and driving back to my house at midnight, dropping it off at my house. And everyone's laughing because I'm posting in real time the entire story. At one point, I didn't want to look suspicious, so I took a bucket. There was a bucket in the piles. I just took it to not look suspicious. I was like, and then I took offense. Like I just got caught up in the moment. But whatever. So I did that, and then everyone's like, Stocky, they all think I'm stealing lumber. And then I gave it all to the charity, and I called them and told them to come pick it up too. And they're all happy. And now everyone is convinced that I lied and went to some kind of like construction site and stole someone's lumber off the side of the road or something like that. I'm not a timber swindler. I didn't steal anyone's lumber, and it was for a good cause. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, that story you told definitely sounds like you stole some lumber, but it's okay.
How did I steal lumber if it was on the side of the road?
I don't know.
No, I'm not saying anything on the side of the road. Like if it was somebody's car, I'm not going to steal it because it's on the side of the road. There's obviously
there has to be way more to the story than just it's on the side of the road for me to answer that. But I will tell you the way you described that, you actively didn't want to look suspicious as if you were doing something suspicious, at least in your mind. So it sounds like you might have stolen at least a little bit of lumber, at least the stuff that had the sticker on it.
Any wood, it was there to be thrown away, and I was repurposing it. But
That's
it just felt odd because I'm not used to picking up a bunch of lumber and taking 4 trips. On the third trip, I was like, maybe somebody doesn't understand that I'm doing something not wrong. Let me take this empty concrete bucket too.
I didn't call you the timber swindler. I'm just saying the story you just told, either intentionally or not, had a little bend to it, at least some ambiguity as to whether or not that lumber was stolen. You can't confirm it wasn't stolen, so because it's ambiguous, I can see where the meme's coming through.
Maury, you are not the thief. Like what am I? I'm not up for judge, jury, and executioner here.
Speaking of trash TV, guys, Maury is retiring. For all y'all that have hung out, like I used to like, if I was ever home from school, like sick because I was faking it or I was really sick, I would love watching Maury and just the absolute trash TV. This is like the content here is some of the bottom of the barrel stuff as far as just like high grade, low grade stories or whatever. But like we all watched Maury Povich. We all were sitting there on the end of our seat saying, is he the dad? Is he not the dad? Well,
the only time I ever watched it was waiting at the emergency room or the hospital.
We've all seen it. We all know Maury, and it's literally trash TV. It's like junk food. You don't have too much of it, but you have a little bit every now and again.
His net worth is $80 million.
Maury's net worth is $80 million.
He got paid $5 million a year.
Dude, good work, Maury.
He was born in 1939. That's the same. He's 3 months older than my grandfather.
Maury Povich retires, ending a 31-season run of revealing who is the father. Maury is known for chronicling relationship drama, including the show's famed "You Are or Not the Father" paternity test reveals. Get those paternity tests in now because Maury won't help you find out whether you're the father beyond this September. It says Maury is ending his run after 24 seasons of the show. The Maury Povich Show. I guess that was the original title. Then they just switched it to Maury. Then it says
at his peak, they were paying him $13 million per year to host the show.
Oh my God. 13 million? Dude, good work, Maury, man. Maury and I decided 2 years ago that this season would be the farewell season for the show, and while his retirement is bittersweet, we're so happy for him to be able to spend more time on the golf course, said Tracy Wilson, Executive Vice President of NBC Universal Syndication Studios. I'm going to be honest, I didn't know Maury was still running. I thought it ended a while ago. However,
extended for 4 years in 2014 and then another 4 years in 2018. But did you know that that show has been nominated for 7 daytime Emmys and won one in 1995?
In 95?
But how the fuck did that show win an Emmy?
It's trash TV. Everyone loves a little trash TV every now and again.
You want to hear something nice? Maury and his wife, widely speculated to have pledged to a real estate acquisition in DC, blah, 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 in 2009. At the bottom of the housing market, they bought a 12,500 square foot in Washington, D.C. home for $9 million at the bottom.
What is it now?
I mean, I don't know, but it's got to be worth 3 or 4 times that.
Damn. Maury's a visionary, man. Maury sees a future that none of us saw. Paternity tests. I trust Maury in investments. I bet he knows what he's doing. Paternity tests. I bet he knows people who
know what they're doing.
So anyway, trash TV. You know what I mean? You have it every now and again. It's like junk food. You don't eat Milk Duds every single meal, but
our sex robot thing went way too long.
It went so long, guys. We didn't get it. This is actually one of the longest run of shows we've ever put together. We had 14 different things that we wanted to cover.
We didn't get to the cyclist guy who, and this is for you guys that want to look up the stories yourselves. We didn't get to the guy who's on the bicycle that was holding up the DC Freedom Convoy.
Yeah, we can get to it. Let's get to it real quick. Watch a lone cyclist slow the DC trucker convoy to a crawl.
Is there just speed run all these stories?
In a second. I got the video up, or it's not actually pulling.
Why do you hate women?
What are you talking about?
This is every time. I mean, we could talk about Girl Scouts, but no, we've got to talk about the guy on the bicycle. Go ahead, Alex.
We just showed the video. Go ahead, talk about your Girl Scouts.
No. Let's talk about the guy on the bike and skip the Girl Scouts getting scammed because they're women, right? We don't care.
Guys, wait, hold on, back.
Unbelievable.
Oh, I don't even know. It says this 8-year-old's. Bro, it's making me pay for this article. It says this 8-year-old's plan to get sell Girl Scout cookies turned into a hard lesson on Silicon Valley.
Maybe he took one less trip to Miami every month. You can
business. What, Miami?
Huh?
You talking about trips to Miami?
Well, yeah. Aren't you going to go for spring break in Miami Beach this year?
Bro, spring break? Are you kidding me? That's another story we didn't get to. Miami spring break, Texas man case against robocalls, China plane crash. At this point, Stocky, what's your rant about? We've reached the end. Stocky.
I mean, we missed out a lot of stuff, but you know what? It was a great, solid episode. But you know what? It's time for Stocky's Random Rant. Stocky's Random Rant. All right, this isn't really random, but I'm just going to go ahead and fucking put it out there. I was boarding up. I hate flying, okay? I hate flying because it's just, I hate waiting in lines. I hate the airport, the food, the stuff. Nothing's ever on time. I hate all that, right? And sitting in a seat for that long, it's not okay for me, okay? But here's what I'm going to say.
You stream all day in the same seat, by the way.
Huh?
You stream all day. You sit down in the same seat. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I can get up and go to the bathroom or fuck my robot if I want to. Okay. I can't do that on a plane, okay? All right, let me get to my rant and stop interrupting me. All right, let me tell you something, okay? Not only was our plane delayed because of whatever, people doing whatever, but when we got on the plane, luckily I paid to get on early, but normally, and this happened in the second one, is that the flight attendant had to get on several times and say, "Hi everyone, it looks like we're having a little bit of a pile up in the aisleway. If you could please put your luggage away and sit down." Why does it take so fucking long for people with nothing but a carry-on to get on and off a plane? I will never understand why it takes that long. You walk on the plane, you find your seat, put your bag up, you sit down. The next person does the same thing. It should take 15 seconds from the time you get to your seat to the time you sit down. We should be on the runway and taking off within 20 minutes of us starting to board. What the fuck takes so long? And then, though, even worse is getting off the plane. Everyone stands up when the plane stops. What the fuck are you gonna do? You're 37 rows back because you're too fucking broke to pay for a better seat, and you probably smell like shit anyways. Why are you standing up when we haven't even opened the cockpit door? Just have some common decency. Let the first row stand up, get their bags, and walk out. Also, stop trying to run in front of everybody. It's just like traffic. What happens when everybody's fucking trying to get on the same thing? It causes a backup. But when we do our little zipper, right? One in, one out, one in, one out. Everybody moves on. Stop being an inconsiderate. You're not getting off any quicker. You're just ruining it for everybody else. This should not be a hour-long process to get on and off a fucking plane. Okay? Sorry.
The jetway, I'm with you on that. Everything you just said. One of my biggest pet peeves in this world is the way people get off the plane. So I love that rant, actually. So bravo on that rant. But the remedy, because I've thought about this with great detail, what they need to do is they need to have a jetway that actually goes out a little further and lets people board a plane from the back and deplane from the front. So if you have everybody board the plane from the back, everybody that goes in first, they're just going to walk all the way up to the front row, and then they won't block it for everybody else. If you're A1, A2, A3, if they all board from the back, then they're going to walk up straight to the front, and then you're not blocking the whole process.
You have way too much faith in humanity. That is not how that works. People are fucking idiots. There was one guy who wanted to put his bag above his seat. And there was no space above his seat because people that got there before him, and refused to put it 3 seats back because he said, well, when I get up, I have to go back to get my bag and come back. Okay, maybe that's the case, but guess what? Maybe if you politely ask the person to hand it to you, they will. And so that took an extra 5 fucking minutes because then the flight attendant had to come back there, get past people. It is not that hard. You know what? How about we just get rid of all carry-ons? Okay, you can have
no. Carry-ons are the bomb.
You can
carry-ons
have
are the bomb.
Handbag.
No.
Okay,
carry-ons
that must
are
fit
good.
under your seat, and that's it.
Checking bags is no bueno. Carry-ons are the bomb.
I don't carry bags anymore. If I can't carry it on the plane, it didn't go with me.
That's what I'm saying. No more checking. Only carry it on. You bring a little duffel bag and you bring a backpack.
No. From now on, you get the equivalent of a grocery bag. We're going to give you a fucking grocery bag, a clear, I don't care if it's clear, I don't care what it is. Maybe you don't want to keep it clear because I don't want to see your fucking weird dildo. But here's the thing. You can have one plastic bag that must fit under your seat, no overhead bins. Okay, bring back my little TVs, all right, where the overhead bins are, and that's it. You get in, you sit in your seat, and that's it. And you shut the fuck up. That's what you do, okay?
The last part's my favorite part. That's the most critical part of it all. Just sit down and shut the fuck up. Guys, thank you all for being here today for episode 18 of TheStockGuy AL3X Show. Guys, this is the podcast that covers topics around the world, business, news, markets, money, sports. If people are talking about it, so are we. The TheStockGuy AL3X Show can be watched, listened, and viewed on YouTube and Spotify. Guys, follow us on all the socials. Stocky, last thoughts?
My last unread text message.
What's the date?
This one comes from June 27th, 2018. It comes from one of my supervisors when I was a manager. It says, hey, Jason, sorry bother you on the holiday weekend. I just had a severe migraine and I'm not able to do much with the lights and noise. Was wondering if you could possibly come in early and relieve me. Oh.
Did you relieve him?
To her.
Did you relieve her?
I didn't answer the text message.
Well, listen, that's like 3 in a row now that had to do with your job back then. So people...
I mean...
What the hell?
I don't
Did
know.
you talk to any of your coworkers?
I was working overnight, and this was 4:52 p.m., so I was probably asleep.
Did you talk to the people you worked with back then? Apparently not.
I'm sure I probably got up and just came in early anyways, or maybe I called. I don't know.
That's 3 have been coworkers from that time of your life.
Yeah, but see, maybe I was salty because 3 weeks earlier, they were really late, and I texted them, I really need you to get here, and they said, good morning, I'll be there in 20 minutes, and they were already 20 minutes late, so maybe I was like, fuck you.
Oh, well, guys, thank you all for being here, and we will see you next week for episode 19. Everybody, one love.
One love, and hey, Support your local Girl Scouts. Fuck DoorDash.